Pickaxe.
Hello and welcome to YOMP!
I'm not doing an actual real scream because my neighbours will be round. They'll call the police.
Perfect. Just perfect. This is a very special YOMPer. Yes, we are doing our Halloween special. Not actually during Halloween, but during Friday the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
And why do you think that would be?
Because it's a scary day, isn't it?
It is. It's an unlucky day. And also, it's because the movie we randomly picked in our live show, our Shrek-isode, was G's pick.
Gasp.
Shock Horror, Friday the 13th, the original, 1980 version. 1980. Who are these people that you're listening to, in case you didn't realise? And what is this whole thing? YOMP is a movie discussion podcast. Ye Old Movie Podcast. It's an acronym. It's not that complicated. Come on. I'm Simon, the Honeydew Man Diggy Lane.
Skipper, aka Skipper.
aka Skipper! That's right, and I'm joined by the fragrant... no, I can't call you that. I can't...
Tell everyone what you
Tell
called
everybody
me.
what G's new nickname is, thanks to you.
G's new nickname is Exhausted Star Games.
But it just sounds like she used to be a whore, but now she isn't.
Exhaur, for
Which
sure.
isn't true, because she's still a whore.
I'm still a massive
Oh my
whore.
god. Gee, please.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this spooky episode of YOMP. I am G Star Games, also known as X Whore. And with me is Sophie.
Oh yeah,
What's
I don't
Sophie's
have a nickname. Don't have one. Don't have one at all.
She didn't pick one.
We
Didn't
should have picked Halloween names.
Oh
for this episode.
yeah, I like
Yeah.
this. Okay, so because Simon always does the best spooky Halloween nicknames on Twitter. Like every year, I think, pretty much. Very scary names.
I mean, I have changed my name on Discord to be Simon Honey Frank Herbert's June.
Yes.
Doesn't
Yeah.
quite work.
No, but I like it.
Not really Halloween-y either.
No,
We'll figure out a name for Boof.
it's like Frankenhooker. Just
I mean, iconic.
We can't have Hooker and X-Whore
as
and
the two
Skipper.
women.
Can't have the two
women on-
women called that and me Skipper. That doesn't...
You're like the pimp, and we're the we're the sex workers.
Have you? Speaking of prostitutes, Simon, have you ever heard of the film Dr. Detroit?
I don't think so, no.
Oh,
No.
God. I mean, I really liked it, but I don't know why.
Is this going to be on your list?
No, it's
me with
it's
every
really,
Sophie pick.
Dan Aykroyd, right? And
Oh,
he's a comic super pimp, apparently. Super pimp.
sounds great. Sounds
A pimp
great.
on the run trusts his sex workers to a meek professor of literature who accepts a challenge. So a pimp has to fuck off, and he says, Dan Aykroyd, will you look after my bitches? And he goes, yeah. And I don't know why I like it.
It sounds like a movie fueled by cocaine.
Listen to the tagline. He's making the world safe for insanity. Don't even know what that
Does that
means.
even mean? It doesn't make any sense, does it? It's
That
nonsense.
is a word salad, and it
Why
means
did I like
nothing.
it? I have no fucking idea. But there you go. Enjoy that if you do watch it.
They're like prostitute Power Rangers. The way the
Yeah.
they look on the cover.
Christ. What is the movie review website that you post on?
Letterboxd.
Letterboxd. Yeah. Check out Booth on Letterboxd to see what she's been watching.
Yeah.
Today we are talking about Friday the 13th. We each picked 2 films to go on a list. So we had 6 movies and we rolled. And it was G Star Games who picked Halloween and Friday the 13th. I joked that she was going to pick these two movies, and she fucking did.
Because she was like, oh, I bet she was like, her head was like, oh, I don't really know any Halloween films. Wait, what did Simon say I was going to pick?
Unbelievable.
That's the one.
Unbelievable. So why did you pick this?
Because I like Friday the 13th a lot. I like the silent killer that just goes around because he just wants to kill. And that it doesn't need to be any deeper than that for me. It's just such a nice, like, oh, it's just murdering and slashing people.
Nice.
It's nice. I get feel-good vibes. I get more feel-good vibes from that than, like, I don't know, Saw. Like, I saw the other day about Saw 10 that they were giving out sick bags to people while they were watching, just in case they felt
I think that's
pukey.
Overblown, because...
But that's gore porn, and I hate that. I hate that.
It's rubbish.
It's so disgusting.
Do you fancy going to SawCon?
SawCon these nuts, you little bitch!
Terrible. Fucking terrible.
Brilliant. It's not that gory. It's not that over the top.
It's not that gory. Really?
I mean, in comparison to, like, Hellraiser or, I don't know, like The Fly that we watched, like, that's more disgusting by a country mile. Like, this is fairly tame. It's not that bad. Like, probably as the sequels go, they get a bit more grim. But
oh god,
I don't know. It's I like a silent killer.
Okay.
What can I say?
Don't get me started on the Friday the 13th franchise.
Oh yeah, there's too many.
The first four are like normal films, right?
Yeah, and I'm fine with that. I mean, the kind of I get tired by the end of them.
Well,
like,
they're just very
go
samey,
off the
right?
rails.
Yeah,
they're just samey. They just do the same
because
sort of formula.
they were like, well, this was a good thing. This was great. Let's do it again and again and again because people love it. And again, 12 times.
And it also becomes more and more like supernatural and strange. And it stretches the believability far beyond breaking point. Said that the is it 2009 version is really good.
Is it?
Don't believe I've seen it.
Solid film.
Is it actually? Because I've never seen it because I just thought, ugh.
I don't know. It's got a similar vibe to the first Friday, I think. It feels grounded in reality, and
I think what I like about like the earlier Friday the 13th films or Halloween or anything like that's a cult classic set around like the late 70s, 80s is the feel, the vibe, the 80s vibe. I don't like a lot of modern horror at all. I just don't. It doesn't have that feel that a lot of like the 80s films have because obviously the time it was filmed has that quality about it.
Need like young ladies running around in just their pants.
No, not just that. There's something. I know it's like a horrible thing to say, but I find them. Even though it's a horrible thing that's happening in the films, I still find them weirdly comforting because of the setting and because it was like 80s and it has that charm about it. I find them a lot more charming. I find a lot of horrors and slashers and thrillers they have a lot more personality to them as opposed to a lot of modern horror stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, I get that.
Like I was talking about, I won't tangent too much on this, but like I just don't like a lot of modern horror. But like something like Hereditary, a lot of people very like. I'm
A Midsummer, of course.
Yeah,
the movie that you loved.
Yeah, it's just a lot of women screaming. But yeah, I just they bordered too much on heavy CGI, heavy gore porn. It feels too like quirky in like a cringy, sort of fake looking, plasticky, no substance way. and they just do nothing for me, like whatsoever.
So I guess you see it as being like style over substance.
Yeah.
For like
it's
these
like with
very
the Alien.
stylish, well-made, expensive-looking films.
Yeah, they feel too fake. I know it's fiction and it is fake and it's a movie, but they feel too fake, and they're just a lot of the time just very shit.
Yes.
Wow. Damn.
No, I
They are.
totally like. I don't understand a lot of modern horror because they've gone back into the sort of like, we just need blood and guts and gore, no story, nothing else. We can do CGI and stuff. I started watching a film yesterday and I didn't finish it. And it was on Disney, and it's like, did they see us, or something like that? When they see it? No, it's not that one. Something like that. And the alien, it's about an alien or something.
Oh, yeah. It's the film that only has 5 words in it.
What?
It's so fucking shit. It's like, this alien looks garbage.
Also, you have spoiled it by saying alien.
It's right there. It's right fucking there. Like, there's this creature that's walking around clicking and stuff, and it's like, and then he floats off out a window. It's fucking bollocks. It's garbage, and it's got that sterilized, made for streaming services look about it.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Just, it's like looking at a blank piece of paper almost.
Yes.
Like,
oh my God. That is a perfect description of that. Truly.
No One Will Save You is the name of it.
No One Will Save You.
There are
5
some
words.
I'm not saying all horror, all thriller, or whatever shit. Like, there's definitely some like, I liked Pearl. I thought Pearl was pretty damn good. The Menu, that's kind of like,
I still haven't watched that. I'm going to have to fucking watch that.
yeah, you should watch that.
You're going to get angry at me because I said, gee, this movie looks great. And you were like, it looks terrible. And then you watched it ages ago.
Yeah. And I thought, I was like, whoa, this is actually pretty damn decent. But yeah, I've had like discussions around like a film like Hereditary, and maybe we'll put that on the list at some point. But you know, a lot of people think that like Hereditary is very clever, very well done, very well thought out. Doesn't linger too much on like gory stuff, and it does a lot of things right. But then there's like so many other like disgusting, like Hostel. I remember Hostel like a little bit.
The torture porny sort of subgenre of it.
Yeah, and it's like that doesn't make.
It's just really unpleasant. It's just nasty. Martyrs. Oh God.
I don't want to see that. It's not clever. It's not doing anything for me. Like, just like excessive amount of, slashing and torture, and like the Saw movies
Martyrs
are just
is
the
very
worst
good,
for
though.
it.
Martyrs is very good. It's horrific. It's one of the most horrific films I've seen, but it is very good though.
And I mean, no doubt there is people that enjoy those films. Obviously, they love that. They wouldn't make it if they didn't make money.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of like, because I don't get scared and I don't get grossed out by these films in the same way. I don't enjoy any aspect of them. So yeah, I enjoy films in a completely different way, I think.
Yeah.
Than some people.
But that's why I think something like Friday the 13th is very kind of likable, because it's not trying to overwhelm you with like with too much horror, too much on the tension, too much on the jump scares and whatever else. It's simple. And I think that's why I like it.
Excellent. Thank you for bringing us back to the movie we're talking about. Thank you.
I like, there's a line in Red Dwarf that I was thinking about this whole time in the episode of Better Than Life, and they get this, it's like a mail pod, and they get loads of stuff. And this is set in like the far future. They're on a spaceship, and this mail pod contains Friday the 13th, part 1649. They were joking about it in the 80s that there was just so many fucking parts to Friday the 13th. Little did they know. Yeah.
They predicted the future.
Yep. They predicted the future. We're going to get part 1649.
Well, the 2009 one was the last one. There's not been another one since then.
Oh,
so
yeah. The 2000.
they're
sure.
behind schedule.
Well, yeah.
Got a lot of catching up to do in the next several million years.
You never know. You never bloody know. But like, yeah, they just try to reboot a lot of the time, and it just sort of like, ugh.
Miramax is taking offers from different studios for the rights to Halloween. Again.
Oh, God.
Halloween was so bad, though. Like, the first one was great, and then the two after were fucking heinous.
They're passing these film franchises
Halloween 2
around.
is fine. Halloween 3 is brilliant.
Yes,
no,
hold
hold on.
But it's not a Michael Myers film.
No, I'm talking about the newer ones. The ones that they did in the last,
you can't
like,
say
few
the
years.
first one.
Sorry. The ones in the last, since 2018 or 2019. I apologize. So the ones that they did like more recently, that one, because it's called Halloween. It's genuinely just called Halloween.
Yeah.
And then the other one is Halloween Kills, and then Halloween Ends. And good fucking Lord. Like, they did something so good with Halloween, and then the next two that followed were fucking atrocious. And I don't know if it's because it was because of COVID.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy that there's the original Halloween, then there's Halloween, the Rob Zombie one, and then there's Halloween, the whoever the fuck the director was of that in 2018.
Like, that's another one with like 5 million fucking
David Gordon Green. Yeah.
How many Halloween movies are there? Like a ridiculous amount. Ridiculous.
This is the thing. It's like one studio, one company will get done with the franchise and they go, right, there we go. And then someone else will be like, but I've got an idea, so they'll buy it. And it's like they're passing around the corpse of a rabbit saying, well, I want to go.
Yeah.
And then
I
you
couldn't think of a
good
good I couldn't think of a good analogy.
It's actually something that happened in Sophie's childhood.
Well, listen, the cats
on
brought
Friday
things
the 13th.
back. Cats brought things back all the time.
That they did.
And we had a good time with it. You know, you got to make the best of it.
Can we please talk about Friday the 13th, 1980?
Yes.
Well, we can start. We can go into it. We can start our little quick fire, sort of running through the scenes, not lingering too much on the details. If you want.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it starts off with a prologue. It's 1958.
Yes.
There's a bunch of camp counselors singing an African American slave song.
Christ.
And there's a POV shot of someone that's creeping around. And this is used many times throughout the film. You're in the killer's point of view. And he's creeping around looking at a bunch of sleeping kids. Two of the counselors go off. They go into like a massive shed and they start fooling around. The girl says that's not allowed. And that's one of the final things she ever says. Because the POV person creeps up and just kills them. And they're fucking dead.
I like how they're like, "Oh no, we shouldn't do this. We're gonna get caught. No, we shouldn't do this." And they just like, not only do they leave the lights on, leave the door wide open, like you guys, you may as well have a neon sign outside and going, "Teens fucking." At that
Oh
point.
my god!
Yeah.
And the FBI should just keep a lookout on who goes into that fucking shed.
Yeah. Fucking horny camp counselors, man.
We cut to the present day. It's Friday, June the 13th. And
Woo.
June the 13th, 1980 was actually a Friday, I checked.
Good.
Yeah, I think there's some discrepancies because this was filmed in 79 and people were like, it's not actually. But it was released in 1980 and
Yeah. We see our protagonist, our main character, who's going to be the final girl and will definitely survive at the very end, Annie.
She goes to pet a dog at a gas station, and I was like, wouldn't that dog be good if it was called Gaz Pump the dog?
Oh my god.
It was a girl. No, wait, she said it was a girl, and then she was like, I'm sorry, boy.
Yeah, she sees the penis.
She sees the
His
penis.
lipstick's out.
I love that. The town is really nice, and So I had a
There's
dream.
no one there. There's like a bunch of boarded up houses.
I had a dream. It was before we did the live episode, and it was set in a place so similar to that.
My God.
The surroundings of the town and the countryside it feels very British. Like it looks really like English to me.
Do you know what? I had a dream, right? It was a storm and the rain was falling really hard. It was like pebbles hitting the ground. And then the rain turned to blood.
Oh.
But it probably doesn't mean anything. Don't worry about that.
Don't worry about it.
It's just a dream I had.
Don't worry about it. Well, I'm sure that won't come up again later.
Our lady Annie, our young lady, she goes into like a general store / bar. I don't even know what the fuck this place is. And she asks, how far is Camp Crystal Lake from here? And it's like the scene in The Slaughtered Lamb.
Yeah.
So what's the deal with the pentagram on the wall?
And everyone just stops and stares.
Yeah. The
it's
lady
like,
turns the music down.
The Three Amigos when they walk in and the music stops playing and everyone puts their drinks down and there's these three guys in fucking mariachi costumes in Mexico.
Oh, Jesus, yeah. So it's a 20-mile journey to where the camp is from town. Just bear that in mind. Keep that in mind.
Right, where did she walk from?
I think she's been
just walking.
I think she's hitchhiking and hiking. So she gets a lift as far as someone's sort of going at like a junction, and then she walks to the nearest town and tries to get a lift.
Simon, did you notice that on the radio, it was saying it's Black Cat Day? Friday the 13th.
Oh my God. The
Black
thing
Cat
is, Black
Day.
Cat Day is several times a year. It's really weird.
It's every day for you.
It is every day for me. That's damn right. It's double cat.
I love
Black Cat
Black
Day.
Cats.
So one of the local ladies says, Camp Blood? They're opening that place again? And that's the first time we hear the nickname, Camp Blood. Probably nothing to worry about, though.
Right. I have something that comes up here, okay? So it's mentioned that there has been 3 deaths and some fires, and they gave it this nickname.
We don't hear that until she gets on the truck with Enos, who gives her a lift there. And before she gets on the truck, Enos says, all the girls up there are going to look as good as you.
God.
And he's like in his 50s or 60s, and she's like 17 maybe.
It was the 80s. Everybody was being a pervert.
Everyone was inappropriate.
It's true. It was normal. You were expected to laugh it off when a man...
She did. Yeah, and she was.
A man old enough to be your father / grandfather
literally
pervs on you in a truck in the middle of nowhere. And you're just supposed to go, ah, ha, 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 ha. Oh, you.
Grabs your ass.
So you don't get murdered.
Yeah.
Grabs your ass while you're being, pushed into the truck.
He did sort of touch her bum, but I think that was fine. It was just a professional bum touch.
Sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We also meet Ralph, the local nutcase, who says, "You're going to Camp Blood, ain't you? You'll never come back again. It's got a death curse." And then he rides off on his bicycle, his blue bicycle.
And he almost falls off it. He's wobbling around. Ralph's a legend. I love Ralph. He's the only one that with any fucking sense. Actually.
Well, yeah, I guess. Yeah. In that way that mad people have more sense than sane people.
That's me. He's talking about me.
Yeah. Annie reveals that she's going to be the camp cook in the truck with Enos on the way there. Apparently there's going to be 50 kids and 10 staff, so she's going to be pretty busy. We also learn that her boss's name is Steve Christie, and he's a piece of work. We'll see him later. But her boss didn't tell her about the history of the camp. Enos reveals the camp is jinxed. She should just quit. 2 kids got murdered in 1958 and a boy drowned in 1957. And also there was a bunch of fires and the water went bad when they tried to reopen it.
So all in all, a very just nothing sus about this place at all.
But the fact that they've given it the nickname Camp Blood, even though it was like there was just a drowning and 2 kids died,
and murders.
I don't think that's I don't think that's enough to go. Well, it's got a death curse. Not really a curse. It's just a series of. Do you know how many people die all the fucking time?
That's true. People do die all the time.
Do you know, like, I'm pretty sure, like, there'll have been deaths everywhere.
Someone just died.
Just everywhere. Just pick somewhere and somebody all fucking died there. So.
Oh my god. I get what you're saying.
Do you reckon someone's died in your house?
I bet they have.
I bet someone's died in mine. Victorian house.
They could be here right now.
It's just that thing that, like...
Mary loves dick.
What's that, Sam? Mary loves dick.
It's just that thing with, like, you know, because if it's a small town or a small whatever, and when something like that happens, it's very tragic. It's big news. You know, nothing weird like that happens. Decades. Yeah, it's a big event for a small town like that. And I think this
22 years have passed since the murders. 22 years, and they're still going on about it.
Boring.
Get a life. Well, Jesus.
I guess that means that nothing like that generally happens in that area. Although it's kind of hard to believe, considering this is like New Jersey, I think.
Yeah. New Jersey.
New Jersey.
Is that where it is? Huh.
Yeah.
I looked it up, yeah. It's
Well, it says on the side of the truck, and it also says he drops her off next to a graveyard.
I know. Something. What the fuck?
And it says Hope, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Why does he... that's as far as he's going. And there's like... She's going to have to walk like the other 10 miles.
Yeah. He took her maybe like 3/4 of the way, I guess. But my god, that fucking graveyard had the densest gravestone heads I've ever seen. They were huge. Huge.
That must be a real graveyard, right? They didn't build that set.
No, but it looked kind of like set-like in a way. It looks super weird and caricature-y, I guess, for a graveyard.
Right. Yeah.
Banjo-Kazooie.
Banjo-Kazooie.
Oh my god.
Alakazooie.
We see a pickup truck and it's lovely. It's a shiny red pickup truck. It's got a thing covering the back so you can like sleep in the back or whatever. Kevin Bacon is inside making out with a girl, Marcy. He's Jack. His character's Jack. The girl is Marcy. And I think the other lad is Bill, who is Bing Crosby's son in real life.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Which is crazy. They are thankfully Kevin Bacon isn't driving, by the way, because he's busy making out with his girlfriend.
And there's the most annoying bluegrass song on.
It's a weird song. They arrive at the camp, and the shirtless, bespectacled Steve Christie is there, hacking away at a tree stump.
I wrote down Camp Woodcutter, which is a better name for the camp. They arrive at the Camp Woodcutter. He's certainly not gay. No way.
With his fucking 3/4 jorts.
His mustache.
Everybody is wearing cut-offs. He's got his shirt off. He's got a mustache. He's got his big socks and boots on. He
looks like Ned Flanders.
He looks like Ned Flanders.
He flirts creepily with Alice, who's an artist.
To prove he's not gay.
Yeah. And he's kind of creepy and weird.
She's using a hammer all wrong. Well. She's like swinging it around.
She's doing.
And she's an artist, which never comes up again.
No, it's not an important detail.
That's as three-dimensional as she's going to get. She's an artist.
Pretty much. The councillors are all rushing to get things ready for the campers. They're nailing things, as we mentioned. They're painting stuff.
The painter is another stylish gent. He's got trousers and he's got like these stupid fucking braces on to hold his trousers up. He looks like Mork.
Oh, yeah, from Mork and Mindy.
They're very same.
Someone is watching them. We've got the POV sort of creep shot. They're hiding behind it like a tree. Alice walks right past them, like she's maybe like a meter away from them, but she doesn't see that there's someone there. I don't know how she misses them.
Blind.
Anyway,
bitch.
Steve, who's in charge, he's the grown-up. He has to leave the camp in his cute little Jeep and trailer in order to pick up supplies. He says he'll be back sometime after lunch, and technically that's true. He will be back sometime after lunch.
That is a good point. Yeah, because he was back. Yeah, it took him a long time. To get back.
Everyone's wearing cutoffs though at this stage. They've all got jorts on. And they're all just kind of fucking around, getting the place ready, but not like actually doing much work. To be fair. Brenda has to go and do the archery range. And Brenda's told to set up the archery range. And so Brenda's lugging around these big fucking targets that are a bit fucked up. And she nearly gets skewered because some wise ass decided that it was a good idea to fire arrows straight into the target that Brenda was standing at. So everybody's a fucking dickhead.
Well, he's a dickhead. That guy, like, I was just hoping he died first. He was really...
I'm hoping they were all dying. I'm like, I hope they're all dying.
Really?
We see Annie, we cut back to Annie, and she hops into a Jeep. And, because she's hitchhiking, and she says, "Hi, I'm going to Camp Crystal Lake." And I wanted, the camera sort of cuts away, just to an external shot of the Jeep, and when she says, "I'm going to Camp Crystal Lake," and I wanted the Jeep to slam the brakes on and kick her out. I was thinking that would be the perfect... I could make this into such a good comedy. But the driver's not very talkative. Interesting.
Well, it's the same Jeep as the owner of the camp, so we assume it's him.
Yeah. There's because he drives off in a Jeep, and she gets picked up by a Jeep. But the driver misses her turning to Camp Crystal Lake, and when she says, "Hey, hang on, we missed it," it speeds up. Oh no. And so she bails out, and there's a little bit of a woodland runaround there for a bit.
Yeah.
Now, and here's an interesting little thing, because she falls over, obviously, and she gets her throat cut. And we see the arm of the killer in, like, a nice flannel shirt. What did you think of the kill?
Very realistic.
Gruesome. Just... merciless, just doesn't even hesitate, just slashes her throat.
Was it realistic? Did you like it?
Thought it pretty realistic. Yeah,
it looked pretty realistic to me.
It's better than some of them anyway.
Yeah.
The body was obviously fake because they all have this stupid, weird sort of strange colour to them. Yeah.
I like how in the car when she was talking to I think it was when she was in the car with the killer, she was like, "I hate it when people call them kids. This sounds like little goats." And I'm like, well, they are.
There's a lot of bullshit, but she's such a bad actor, is Annie.
It feels like she was set up to be the protagonist, because we were with her like right from the start of Act 1. We follow her journey.
Yeah.
And then she gets killed off. It's like a good sort of, a good gotcha moment.
Yeah. She's terrible at acting, and I expect some of it was ad-libbed. A lot of the lines just make no sense, because in the next sort of scene, you hear them. Are they? I can't remember what they're doing, but she says, "Vitamin C neutralizes the nitrites."
Yeah.
It's such a weird thing. The other counselors are just hanging out in the water or by the water, sunbathing and swimming. And there is a fantastic question someone asks, and it's, if you were a flavor If you were a flavor of ice cream, what would it be?
Mm-hmm.
This is
So,
definitely.
what would you be? What would you be, ladies? Lades.
Laid.
Laid?
If you're a flavor of ice cream.
Oh.
Ooh. Interesting question that we've not prepared for there.
Chocolate, mint chocolate chip. I quite like
Ooh.
mint
Oh my
chocolate
god,
chip.
I was going to say that,
Fucking-
you fucking bitch.
Delicious.
Oh,
I
I
love.
love. Oh,
I love mint chocolate chip.
it's delicious, isn't it? It's
So good. Oh,
Sophie,
yeah.
what would you be?
I would be a hot dog.
A hot dog.
Craft cheese ice cream, because that is a thing.
Some fucking
Ugh.
stupid flavor that nobody really likes. I'm an acquired taste, aren't I?
You give me
Oh. Tutti Frutti.
Tutti Frutti.
you give me either candy floss or
Ooh.
that rainbow colored ice cream. Is that the tutti frutti, or
That
is
might
that
be
something
Tutti
else?
Frutti. Rainbow
But-
colored ice cream.
Because that rainbow colored ice cream is very like pastel looking, and that's like the vibe that you have. You're very
That's so nice. You'd be cherry and coconut flavor. Cherry ripes.
yeah.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Maybe I'd just be vanilla.
No.
Vanilla is so
No.
nice though. Vanilla is great.
Fucking love it. So good. Neapolitan, but the cheap stuff. I'd be the cheapest ice cream you can get. Least
Oh
amount
my
of dairy
God.
in it.
Oh.
Simon would have to be dairy free, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
That's fine. You get a lot of, Ben and Jerry's do their dairy free.
Do you want to be a
And they got,
sorbet?
No!
A gelato?
No. Well,
Gelato still
got
has-
dairy in.
Did you know that? I thought gelato didn't have milk in it,
Mm.
but it does.
No, it does.
It's sorbet that doesn't have milk.
Yeah, sorbet's
Yeah.
just like a fruity freeze
Yeah.
thing.
Right,
But
back
yeah,
on track.
They were asking some very bizarre questions.
Yeah.
Just like, what's that vitamin C stuff supposed to do for you anyway? I'm just like,
I was
it kind of
thinking-
feels like teenagers just talking.
I
right?
was thinking that it was because they were in a lake and they were talking about what happens if you get a UTI from the lake.
Oh.
I mean, that lake
I
looked
mean,
disgusting.
That's just
Like,
because I know that nitrites, like the bacteria in a UTI, cause nitrites.
Oh.
But that's my pure speculation on the matter.
It's called Camp Crystal Lake. Yeah, the water's quite greeny and
Yeah, it's pretty grim looking. Like
You
when
should see
when
the
it,
state of the other ones.
God.
Camp Tomahawk, I think it was Tomahawk Lake. or something.
oh yeah,
Jesus. Don't remind me. It just makes me think of G and that steak I bought her.
The T-bone
Ugh.
steak.
Oh, Ned, he's an asshole, by the way, this character, Ned. He pretends to be drowning, and he's like 2 meters away from the jetty, yet they get a boat out into the water
Yeah.
to rescue him.
Well, it saves
And
them.
it turns out he was just pretending.
So he could get
What
a
a fucking,
snog.
yeah.
what a prick. What an
I mean,
absolute prick.
hated him from the beginning. He's just fucking insufferable. He's just
He also, when Alice has a snake in her cabin, I think Bill chops the head off of it.
good.
And then
Lord.
Ned cracks the joke. I think it's Alice or Brenda says, "Is it dead?"
Yeah.
And Ned responds with either that or it's got a very short clone, which isn't funny at all.
No.
It's
He's
just
not funny. He's not handsome.
I hate him.
He's not in any. He's really annoying. Is he the one that shoots arrows at Brenda
Yes.
as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's the biggest twat ever. And
Yeah.
also,
He's also dancing around with wearing a feather headdress, just going woo 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 or whatever,
Yeah.
dancing around.
when the police arrive, Officer
Yeah.
Dork.
I love this cop. He's
Nobody
amazing.
goes by Ned anymore, do they? Nobody goes by the name Ned.
Is Ned short for something, or is that
Edward.
just-
Edward.
Oh,
So we could start calling Pyrian Flax Ned instead of
Yeah.
Ted.
Instead of Ted, yeah.
Amazing.
So this cop, he
Can I just roll back just briefly because there's something great about this snake bit. She says she finds a snake She goes to get Bill, but Bill is busy. I thought he was just hitting plants with a stick out there. It turns out it's a machete.
He was though.
Yeah.
He was literally just like...
He's just hitting the plants. And then she says, there's a snake in here. But everybody's in there, and one of them says, why are we in here? And I love that.
They and they're so clumsy, they're knocking shit over. There's so many of them all crammed in.
They jump through the fucking bed frame, the fucking mattress falls through. They're like a bunch of monkeys, like trying to...
Idiots.
Yeah, but that snake kill was real. That's 100% real.
What?
Yeah.
They actually killed a snake.
That's a real snake.
Did you not see that?
Rip.
Could you not tell? That's a real
thought it was
snake.
a Tom Savini prosthetic snake.
Right, if you look at the rest of the kills in this film, and you look at that snake dying...
Yeah.
That's the most realistic kill in the movie.
That's the most realistic death in the movie, yeah.
Okay, all right.
So, Officer Dork.
Yes. You been smoking, boy? You know what I mean? You get off a spaceship or something? Colombian gold, man. Grass. Hash. The weed. Dig it? Fucking, what is this guy?
Because he's so like... weird. He basically said, no, I'm not smoking. It's like, you know what I'm saying? And then he goes off on a tangent.
Yeah. Jack, Kevin Bacon's character, he says he doesn't smoke. That's a fucking lie. We see him smoke later.
Oh, yes, we do. Little fibber.
We do. I mean, but he's smoking grass. He's smoking weed. So
okay. Well, that's different.
You can tell
Colombian
he's smoking
gold.
weed because you hold a joint in a different way.
Yeah, for some very bizarre reason.
Yeah, it's so that you can show people that you're smoking weed. I assume.
Well, to be fair, some people do hold their cigarettes in that way, but it's not like the most common way to hold a cigarette.
Very strange.
It is strange.
Very strange.
I don't know why they do it.
The cop reveals that the town crazy Ralph has gone missing. I'm sure he won't turn up at the camp.
Absolutely
real soon.
not. And then he wobbles off on his motorbike. I thought he was going to wobble off into the lake.
He's not very convincing at driving away. No. It feels like he's just about to fucking keel over, and he won't be able to lift the bike up because it weighs so much.
That's a huge bike for a small town cop, right?
That's where the budget goes instead of education and healthcare.
The cops.
Yeah.
I said, Ralph is a top lad. I need someone like Ralph to follow me around whenever I'm about to do something really dumb and say, you're doomed.
Yes.
He's a real one. He is genuinely a real one.
He's a real G.
Yeah.
You're a real G.
I am a real G.
Oh! Alice is in charge of the kitchen, as Annie hasn't shown up. And who is in the pantry but the crazy Ralph?
Of course he's in the pantry. He couldn't just walk up to people like normal. He was like, I'd find somewhere to hide beforehand.
Yeah. He has a very important message to impart. He says, I'm a messenger of God. You're doomed if you stay here. This place is cursed. Cursed. It's got a death curse. And they just keep sort of ranting along those lines.
Yep.
And then he just walks out the cabin, gets on his blue bicycle, and just cycles away.
Fucking Chad. Such a Chad.
What a legend.
Yeah.
I love him.
What a legend. So the sun is getting low, and it's getting a bit dark and gloomy in the cabins, but the lights aren't working. So a few of them have to go and check out the backup generator. See, the cabins are all like wired up to like the grid, but because it's old and knackered and it's in disrepair, they rely on this generator. So hopefully nothing happens with that generator.
That's their sort of, that's almost a lifeline to them.
Yeah. They managed to get the generator going and the lights all come on like magic. And then we have Kevin Bacon, Jack, and Marcy are flirting and messing around by the shore of the lake. And someone's watching them creepily. But it's not our stalker / killer. It's Ned. Ned's been spying on them. Because, you know, he's lonesome. And I think he likes Marcy. And he's jealous.
It was them three in the car, right? When Yeah, okay.
But it turns out someone is watching Ned, and he hears a creak inside a cabin, and he goes off to investigate. That was a mistake, turns out. This is when we get Jack and Marcy talking about Ned, and then the storm starts. There's a very unconvincing flash of lightning, which is just like someone shone a yellow flashlight.
Yes,
in
that's
their
what
faces.
oh my god, it's really coming down, thundering,
It looks
lightning.
terrible. It looks
bad.
absolutely terrible.
Well, they were told that there was a storm coming. They're standing there, and lightning is horribly, unconvincingly flashing above their faces. And what do? They stop and continue to reminisce and have weird conversations about the storm and rain. And I'm just like, get inside.
This is where Marcy tells the story of the recurring nightmare she has.
Yeah.
She's had this dream 5 or 6 times. There's a storm. The rain gets louder and louder. It sounds like pebbles hitting the ground. Then the rain turns to blood. Yeah. Feels ominous, doesn't it?
Just a
Feels a
little.
bit too on the nose.
Imagine saying that to someone, and then they just move on.
Yeah.
You
Little bit of trivia. All of the younger actresses had to read that monologue for their audition.
Oh, that is actually pretty interesting.
I like that.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
So Jack and Marcy enter their cabin, which has got a bunk bed. Marcy removes her pants and she kind of moons us a bit.
So
we see a
weird
little
that you
bit of a
mentioned
crack.
Get arse
the bunk bed.
in the way.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah,
have
we see a little bit of her ass, cheeky.
bit of crack.
And I've written in my notes, Marcy moons us, gets on the bed, and Jack mounts her like a muscular stud entering a frisky mare. She's pretty accurate.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Meanwhile, in the other cabin, let's call it the main cabin, Brenda suggests to Bill and Alice that they play Strip Monopoly.
Dumbest fucking idea ever.
I like the way she says, "We're going to play Strip Monopoly. I'll be the shoe."
Yeah.
She just
She's like, I
Oh,
hate Monopoly, not the way I play it. It's like, shut up. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Can you imagine anything less erotic than Strip Monopoly?
Yeah, bro. I'd be
at
like,
least call it Stripopoly.
thank you. Thank you. It's just fucking
God
terrible.
almighty.
You're going to run out of clothes very quickly, and you're just going to sit there awkwardly with not a lot of clothes on. And plus, Monopoly just makes people irate.
And it's such a long fucking game.
Yeah, and it's cold and rainy. And I know they've got a fire going, but come on, people.
Yeah. My God. Jack and Marcy are busy making fuck, and we see her squeeze his bum. And I think that's actually Kevin Bacon's ass that we saw there.
I was thinking, is that really necessary? Did we really need to see Kevin Bacon?
Something for the ladies.
Well, there was also, after they were done fucking, they had, him holding her tit. And I thought, okay, he's, what's
Cover
it called?
the nipple.
Cover the nipple, protecting her modesty or whatever.
Modesty, yeah.
And then she just lifts up the other tit, and I'm like, oh, okay then. So I guess that's so he's just got his hands on there for no reason. For sure.
Oh my God. So they're busy making hot sex, and the camera slowly lifts up, and we see on the bunk bed above them is Ned's dead body.
Yeah,
his throat
Ned
slit.
isn't impressed.
No.
Ned's dead, baby.
He died.
Ned's dead.
He died from he couldn't handle the sex.
He died how he lived, being cucked by his best friend.
That is so true.
So yeah, when the sex is done, Marcy tells Jack, "You are so fine," which feels like it's like she's damning him with faint praise. She's like, "That was okay. You're fine."
Fine meant something else back then.
Yeah. Marcy then goes off to piss. She has to go to the toilet block.
Always pee after sex. Always.
You got to pee because otherwise you can get a UTI.
Yeah.
Well, you pee out the
Especially
after cum.
Especially after fucking going in the lake, Always just keep peeing. Stay hydrated, kids.
True.
Oh my God.
They are going to be so unwell.
So Jack is alone. He's lying back on the bed. He gets his spliff, lights it up, and a drop of blood lands on his forehead. He wipes it with his finger, sees that it's blood, but before he can react or even process, a hand grabs his forehead and someone stabs through his neck, through the mattress below him with an arrow.
I
Just
thought
goes
that was
straight through.
so fucking funny because his face is very red at this time because he's acting, but the neck and body just do not. They're just like a rubber suit.
Can you stop criticizing Tom Savini's special effects?
Oh, but it's bad.
Apparently Tom Savini is like, what is it, renowned for good.
Yes, he's an
horror
amazing special effects artist.
Special effects man.
And makeup artist, and he's an actor as well.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. He lost his dick and balls in Vietnam in From Dusk Till Dawn, and he has like a gun there.
I love that. That's such a good film.
Fucking hell. I loved that scene. I thought that was fantastic. The timing of it, with the drop of the blood and him looking at it, and then he just gets killed, like, immediately.
Kind of dark in there. I don't know how he noticed. Red.
It's a film. It can't be, like, pitch black everywhere. He has to be able to see stuff.
I know.
Be able to see stuff.
It's just because it's pissing it outside, and I guess, like...
Yeah.
It
is pitch black outside. And Marcy is running through the rain. Is
she barefoot?
Barefoot in her pants, I think, or something. I don't know. But someone's following her. She's in the toilet block in a stall, and she's reading the graffiti. And one of the kids has written 40 yards to the outhouse by Willie Make It.
Hey, I like that.
To be fair, this place shut down in the 50s.
Yes.
That's true.
These kids, it was funny back then.
Isn't it
that was comedy back then?
It's kind of insane how, like, they, did the fuck. She's like, oh, gotta pee. Just, poor thing has to, like, in her underwear. I mean, she could have put clothes on, but get the raincoat, run out to the outhouse, do her business. I'd rather just piss myself. Genuinely. I'd rather stand out in the rain.
I thought just like in bed.
No,
in bed,
no.
Next to your partner, just piss yourself.
Hey, some people are into that. Not me, though. Not me.
Thanks for clearing that up. Marcy thinks she hears something about like a dozen times. She actually begins to investigate. She looks in the showers. She's like ripping.
I love how like she's just like, I'll have a look in all, like, see if anybody's actually showering or getting changed or having a wee.
Mm-hmm.
She pulls like the curtain back and there's nothing there. She pulls the curtain back, there's nothing there. But guess what? There is someone there and they're behind her. She says, must be my imagination, right before she gets an axe in her face, which I found very funny. I
loved that scene when she gets axed in the face. You can see that's
fabulous, though. I think that's way better Savini work.
Yes.
I thought it looked fantastic.
I think obviously back, like, the original quality of that movie would have been a bit... I think that's why we can see it so much, because it's obviously upscaled or whatever, right? Because, like, I was watching this in 1080, so you can see a lot more detail.
I'm watching it like 480 in like a tiny window at the side of my single monitor.
Are you kidding me?
So it all looks fantastic. It all looks great to me.
Oh, for fuck's sake. No, but like you can see a lot more quality in these, like, older, like when we watch Daredreamer, right?
Yeah.
God.
That's like, I don't remember, 720p or whatever. So you can't see a lot of detail sometimes.
720p is HD. It certainly was not.
I don't even think it was 720p, honestly.
No, it wasn't near.
Yeah, but think about VCR on a what are those the TVs called?
Cathode ray tube.
Yeah, so you're just gonna miss a lot of those little details that we can now see today, and we go, oh, that looks a bit unconvincing. But the axe scene was fabulous. I will say,
wonderful kill.
Yeah,
I applauded. I stood up and I applauded.
Yeah, me too.
The Monopoly game is going great in the main cabin, but then the cabin door blows open by itself due to the wind, And the money scatters everywhere, and the game is ruined. They can't keep a track of who has what money. And Alice was just about to remove her blouse as well.
Yeah.
But we don't get to see any tit.
And also, I've forgotten her name. She was...
Brenda.
Is that Brenda? She was very disappointed. She was like, it's just starting to get good. And I'm like, oh, hello.
Yeah.
Right, she
Queen.
Obviously, yeah, absolutely.
Brenda realizes it's pouring down with rain. It's very windy, and she might have left her cabin windows open. So she puts a plastic mac on over her underwear and runs outside into the rain, saying goodnight. Insane shit.
Well,
Insane.
She starts it. I mean, yeah, the door flings open, messes up the game and everything, but she's like, yeah, let's do strip Monopoly. But why? Like, were you intending on having an orgy, or did you want to just get naked around your friends? Like, what was the end game? No end game?
She just wanted to get naked, I think.
Just wanted to get naked. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Then we cut to a roadside diner somewhere, and Steve Christie, the boss, is there drinking coffee. So if you thought he was the person killing them, you're wrong, because he's got an alibi. He was at the diner, and he's been there ages. So fuck you, you're wrong.
Yeah.
So yeah, if this is the first time you're watching it, that might be a surprise to see that he's there. The lady, what's her name? Sandy.
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 I fucking love Sandy.
She is in love with him. She fucking loves Steve. She's flirting with him.
Every time I see those glasses, I think of Booth. Because I think you
Oh my
have
God.
a pair of those glasses, right?
I do.
Holy shit.
But yeah, she's into him. She's like, oh, take me out on a night on the town. You don't know me anything. Take me out.
And he's like, no, I'll settle
No,
up.
I'd
I'll settle
rather
up. Here's
pay.
$3. I'm going. I'm leaving. So Steve drives on his way back in his little Jeep with his trailer, and it's fucking pitch black. It's pissing with rain. He can't see where the fuck he's going. This seems very dangerous. I wouldn't drive in that condition.
No.
Brenda is now in the toilet block. She's brushing her teeth. There's no sign of Marcy or like blood or anything anywhere.
It's very clean.
But she...
No, it's actually not very clean at all. It's absolutely
Well,
disgusting. I fucking hate this,
yeah.
but it looks like it fucking stinks. This whole
what's
place,
that?
everything there's the whole camp, all the bedding and stuff. Everything looks like it fucking stinks.
Yeah.
Another bit of trivia. That toilet block was real. Most of the sets are real. And that toilet block had a single usable toilet that all the cast and crew had to use.
What? Yo.
That sounds horrid,
That
doesn't
is
it? That sounds
horrid.
fucking horrid.
Yeah, man. Fuck that.
Have
But I
you
couldn't
ever-
believe that this wasn't a set. This is like real locations.
Looks real.
Have you ever been to camp, either of you? Like a
Yes.
sort of like stay away?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Was it
Yeah.
anything like this?
No.
No.
Nothing like it.
No. Yeah. The cabins we had had a lot of bunk beds in them, but generally a fairly nice camp. Like, not musky.
I was in a fucking tent sleeping on the dirt.
We
Ugh.
went to a place in Yorkshire, and it was like it just had one big building with like one dorm, and everything was in there. And then we had one
That is
night.
not camping.
No, we had one night where we had to put a tent up and stuff. And I was with two of my
Oh.
friends, but there was loads of beetles in it. So
Ugh.
I tried to bribe my friend to stay with some Skittles, but she said no. She went in, and we all eventually ended up going inside and sleeping inside instead.
And that's the
I
one
cried
time you
every
went
fucking
camping.
night. I was
Oh,
so
God.
homesick. And the last night I was fine.
Dear mother.
That's
Dear
so
father.
weird.
Here I am at Cap Granada. It was actually Humphrey Head, which is a
Humphrey Head. That sounds like when you're desperate for a shit and it's
Yeah.
just poking out.
Stop.
I got the Humphrey Head.
That's
It was
called
actually
touching cloth.
in Grange over Sands, which isn't too far away from where I am now, in Cumbria.
Oh.
Don't dox yourself.
Well, it's in Cumbria. I'm in Lancashire.
All right, the
it's like near
county. We narrowed it
Morecambe.
down to the county.
But I also did. I think I went on another one as well. Yeah. I'm not really keen on that sort of thing. I was
I've slept in like a tent and stuff before, and it's just horrible.
We're homebodies. We like our comforts.
I'm an indoor cat.
Yeah.
Mood. Yeah.
Although I do piss and shit outside like my cats do, but then I come and sleep inside.
I use the litter box.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Jesus.
I'm a bath cat. I'm one of the weird cats that enjoys, water.
Shitting in the bath.
You don't like baths, though. That's a fucking lie.
Well, you know what I mean by when I say bath cat. Because some cats enjoy water, and the only way to bath them is by dunking them in water.
Oh, God. Like you're christening them.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
You're going to heaven now, son.
Stop.
Right, where were we? Oh, yeah, Brenda's in the toilet block. She hears something. We see the shower curtain move slightly, but she just leaves. She doesn't worry about like the weird noises that she hears. And we see the lampshade moving when she leaves. There was definitely someone there. Steve's Jeep has broken down. It's pitch black, pissing down with rain. He can't start the engine. Apparently the trailer was too much for it to carry. But luckily a cop drives by and offers to give him a lift back to the camp.
Not a very
so
good
not only is
drive.
Steve going to come back, but a cop's going to come back as well. This is great. This is fantastic. Someone's spying on Brenda, peeping at her through the window.
Every time you
She's
say
in her
Brenda,
cabin.
I think of Bren.
Boof's cat.
So here's
Bren.
the thing. When somebody was shouting for Brenda, I was looking over at Bren, seeing if she reacted.
See if she was reacting.
She didn't. She was much too asleep, and I actually drew a picture of her in my notes, which I will put on the Patreon. So if you want to see my pictures of cats, then you can sign up to the Patreon.
Yeah.
Which I draw pictures.
Patreon.com/YOMPcast.
That is a good insert because we usually do it at the end, and some people
Thank you.
probably don't. They probably hear the outro and they're like, "Oh yeah, I guess it's over." But yes, we have a Patreon, and Simon and Booth put their wonderful notes on there. Booth has handwritten notes, and they're beautiful and they're chaotic. You can see what goes on inside her mind. Simon is a little more articulated.
No one ever reads mine. No one ever reads.
I don't know whether anyone reads mine. Bloody hell.
No. Oh, that's lovely.
Oh, that is so cute. Oh my god.
Little Brenda and the Candice Marie doing a ballet stretch for that.
The belly stretch. What I don't get, right, is that Brenda, the human being in the movie, she has a tap and a basin in her cabin.
Why did she go to brush her teeth elsewhere?
That is a very good point.
Maybe the water isn't working in the cabins because it hasn't been used in like 22 years.
Right, yeah.
I was like, okay, all right, I can believe that now.
Yep.
She hears a little voice. Help me! It's a little boy's voice. Help me! She grabs a torch, opens the door to the cabin, and she hears, over here! Please! Somebody help me! And she wanders off in the dark, and she says, hello? 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 Like 100 times. Wandering around in the dark. Hello? Come quickly, please! Come quickly, help! And she wanders off, no idea where she is, until suddenly spotlights turn on. She's on the archery range. Uh-oh. It's pissing with rain. She's soaking wet, just wearing a nightie. And we cut to like a cabin interior, seeing the glow of the spotlights come through the windows. And then we hear her scream.
Ooh.
We don't even see how she dies.
No. And I honestly thought...
had that taken from us.
We did have that taken from... But we also had Ned's kill taken from us too. Which was a bit of a cop-out. But I guess it was the first camp
Bill
kill?
as well? Don't we see Bill?
Well, we don't see him get killed, but we see what happens to Bill.
Yeah.
I honestly thought because obviously the way that Ned was shooting arrows near her, I'm like, ooh, foreshadowing. She's going to get, skewered with arrows, and that's not what happened.
It's a bad place to like realize where you suddenly are, with all the lights on you.
Well, she was also in the archery range, and I'm like, okay, that Makes sense. She's going to get shot with arrows, but she doesn't. Bizarre.
Someone else does.
Yeah.
Which is... Oh, wait, is it...
True.
So, I don't know whether it was Ned or Bill that was shooting the arrows at her.
It was Ned.
I think it was Ned.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it's Bill that gets fucking arrowed to a door, which is
He
stupid.
gets loads of arrows, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
bizarre.
dumb. It's like...
There's no consistency.
I think our killer just takes the opportunity to use whichever weapon is appropriate.
Sure.
But Bill enters the cabin where Alice is, and she says, I thought I heard a scream. It sounded just like Brenda. Also, someone turned on all the lights at the archery range, but they've turned off now. It's very odd dialogue that she just explains what we just saw. So Bill and Alice go off to investigate. They head to the cabin where Brenda should be, and she's not there, but in her bed is a blooded axe.
I love
like,
that scene.
What kind of fucking joke is this, man?
That's a red flag if I've ever seen it, you know?
No,
that's not a good sign.
The axe was taking a nap. I was like, don't disturb the axe. Let him sleep. Cute.
They go into Jack and Marcy's cabin, and there's no one there. No bodies either. They check the toilet block. No one's there. And then they break into Steve's office to try and use the phone to call for help. But the line is dead, and we see the camera pan along the outside, and the phone line's been cut. So things are not looking good for them. So now they head to the pickup truck to see if they can get away, but the engine won't start.
And what does she say? Probably some stupid explanation for all of this.
Well,
Yeah,
she
yeah.
says that.
I think it's Bill that says that.
It's
Says
probably
they'll
some stupid explanation for all of this.
And he says, we'll be laughing about this tomorrow, I promise.
Doubt.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Steve suggests that they don't hike the 10 miles to the crossroads with the town another 10 miles away from that. It's pissing down with rain. It's pitch black. So that plan is out. The cop driving Steve back to the camp tells us that it's a full moon as well as Friday the 13th.
Which is...
And
That's a stupid explanation for all of this. It's just a full moon. Everyone goes fucking nuts.
Yeah. All crime goes up. You know, burglaries, murders, everything goes up because of full moon.
Do you think that's genuinely, true? I think that
I think it is slightly true.
which is really weird.
I've played games and seen a lot of media that focuses around like full moon stuff. Like Fatal Frame has a game, and it's something to do with like the full moon and how
Majora's Mask.
I think
it's like
a lot of
exposure.
it is if you're going to burgle a place at night, when there's a full moon, you have just enough light to see a lot of the stuff that you're
Oh my
doing.
god, Simon!
That's a good point.
Yeah,
Um,
that's when all the shit goes down because you can actually see in the
Yeah.
dark a bit better.
it's good to kill people.
unless we're talking about modern stuff, which in that case we're not allowed to see anything anymore. It's always pitch
True.
black because it just looks.
Thanks, Game of Thrones.
I will never forgive them. I will never forgive them for that scene.
The cop gets a call on the radio. There's a crash. He needs to get the Jaws of Life, which presumably he has in the trunk of the cop car. So he has to drop Steve off and turn around and help the people in the crash. So Steve is now walking in the pitch black back to the camp. He doesn't have a torch. Thankfully, the rain has just stopped, so that's something.
Little positives.
And Steve is just jogging in the fucking pitch black. He's just fucking jogging, and he reaches the entrance with the lovely sign that says Camp Crystal Lake, and someone shines a light in his eyes. And Steve greets them as though he knows them. He says, "Oh, hi, what are you doing out in this mess?" And then he gets stabbed. So it's someone Steve knows.
Could it be Steve?
I think it might be Steve. Other Steve. It's two Steves. Someone enters a building and there's a sign on the door. This is the generator shed. The sign on the door says, "Danger, danger, high
I
voltage."
knew you were going to do that, Simon. I
Very
fucking
touch.
knew it.
Wavy keys.
Fire in the disco.
they turn off the generator and all the power goes out. The lights are all off. It's not looking good for whoever's still alive. I guess just Bill and Alice are left at this point. Bill lights a couple of lanterns. He's going to check the generator, and he says the famous words, "I'll be right back." Clearly, he's not seen the movie Scream.
Maybe sometime.
Alice just snoozes on the sofa without a care in the world.
She does look very cozy, and it looks really
booth
cozy
energy.
Yeah,
big booth energy. If you guys are getting killed and stuff, and you go like, "I'm just going to go out and see where everybody is because we haven't heard from anyone in literally hours," and I'm like, "I'm just going to take a quick nap."
Good time to have a quick nap.
Good nap time.
I take a nap.
Bill checks the generator and he checks like the fuel levels and stuff. And the shot is framed so that you can see like that fucking open door right behind him, but just darkness beyond.
You're expecting something, you know?
You are, but you never see anyone come through.
You also get the next shot is like one of those POV shots like you get when somebody's going to be killed. But again, nothing happens.
Yeah, it just throws you off.
It does. It's good. It's clever.
And Alice wakes up, just yells out, "Bill!"
She's having a dream about Bill Cosby.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
It scared her.
Then we have, I think, maybe my least favourite scene of the film, which is when she puts the kettle on and she makes coffee.
This
Why?
is stupid.
Holy shit.
What, do you just feel like it's pointless and it lingers?
It goes on for so long.
And I think they're trying to go for suspense and they're trying to pad out a movie, but it just kind of annoys me that this is what she's choosing, that they're choosing to show this particular bit.
Well, it's because it's quiet. She's alone. Nobody else is around. He has been gone for what she assumes is a little while. It's building anticipation, and I think it
building.
Whoa. I think it's intentional. I do agree it drags on a little bit, but yeah.
She opens the door to the pantry and there's no one in there. She just gets the sugar.
Ralph's house is not in there. Where's Ralph?
But I guess the important thing is that she realizes she has to go and find Bill. She has to go outside.
I wouldn't fucking bother.
Go to the generator to see
Have
where he
nap.
is. So she doesn't even drink the coffee. She just goes out.
Well, because she's making, in the process of making it, it gives her enough time to go, okay, wait, no, this is a bit weird. It's a little
bit
too
sus.
Yeah, it's a little too quiet. He's been gone for a while. He should have been back by now. So she just stops that.
Yeah.
Goes off.
Now, I do really like the next scene because she heads to the generator shed, and for like the first time in forever, maybe for the entire movie, we get some non-diegetic music, and it's like normal music.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this normal soundtrack music, and it's not like mama, mama. It's not like it's not like spooky. It's just some nice gentle music that's playing.
Yeah,
and that made the scene really fucking unsettling for me. Just how normal the music was all of a sudden. And then she closes the door of the generator shed, and there hanging from the fucking door is Bill with a bunch of arrows in him, including one in his eye, and it's horrible.
Yeah. Bill being strung up by his balls. He's got arrows everywhere. Which, in hindsight, which we'll get to the point, I won't say it now, very impressive on the part of the killer.
Sorry, they're a good shot, the killer. Jason is a good shot.
Sure, yeah, Jason's a great shot. Winky face.
So Annie is obviously disturbed. She runs back to the main cabin. The door doesn't lock, so she has to tie a rope around the doorknob, and she puts a whole bunch of shit against the door to stop it from opening.
I love this. I thought that it was really clever that she was locking the door with a rope and a log and a trunk and a chair. And I was like, okay, that's enough. The windows are still a bit of a problem here.
She just draw one of the curtains, but not the other one.
Yeah,
she tries. She's panicking.
I said, bless her. She's really trying here, but she's fucked.
She's doing things right.
I'd like
she
to
grabs
the door
a baseball
opens
bat.
The other way.
That would be great. Oh my god!
So She locks the door by like tying it. Yeah. So
She does,
if it
like, some
opens the
sort
other
of,
way,
like boat knot, I guess, some sort of.
yeah. So she ties it so that it holds it closed that way, right?
If it opens into the cabin,
No,
the rope
no,
won't do
no.
anything.
The door
But if
it
always
opens,
flings open the other way from the.
It opens
the wind.
outwards, so
Yeah.
the rope makes sense. But then she piles loads of shit against the door, which makes no sense if the door opens outwards.
yeah,
Well, I guess
it's weird.
if anyone got through, they'd have to like fumble and climb over, which would stop them for like a little bit, but not really
A
that much.
millisecond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rude.
But she grabs a baseball bat. She goes and checks the other rooms in the cabin, which is quite smart. And then she says to herself, "What am I going to do?" And she rests against the fridge. And then suddenly Brenda's body is thrown through the window next to her.
Not Brenda.
It's got all like
And
rope
that
tied round her.
horrible
And
nightgown.
She's dead. She's fucking dead.
She did.
She's dead.
And there's a weird scene where Annie runs out, but her Mac gets stuck on like
The
oven
handle
or something?
to the oven, yeah.
yeah, and it just comes off of her.
She's upset. She's just like, what am I fucking going to do? Oh, shit, I'm going to take it off.
Now I don't have a Mac. Great.
No.
She sees headlights outside, so she removes all the shit from the door again.
Yep.
Rushes outside. She thinks it's Steve in his Jeep,
Because it's the
but
Jeep.
it isn't.
Because it is
But
the
it
Jeep.
isn't Steve.
No.
It's some random middle-aged lady.
It's the Piege, not the Jeep.
It's a
It's-
beige.
It's Mrs. Voorhees, who's an old friend of the Christies.
Very,
Who's just
very
shown up
lovely, personable.
in the middle of the night.
She helps out here. She's just she's very relaxed. She's very chill. She's just like,
She's
right,
so
it's like
chill.
3 a.m. Just show me what's
Yeah.
going on. All right? Everybody's dead. Don't fuck it. No, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. I'm
Mrs.
here.
Voorhees thinks the storm has just gotten to Alice.
That's what happens
You know
in
what?
storms.
Young women, they get hysterical over
Full
nothing.
moon.
They mither about their friends all being dead and shit. Mrs. Voorhees not concerned at all until she sees Brenda's body in the cabin. And then she starts talking and
She's
she
like,
says,
So young and so pretty. What kind of monster could have done this, eh?
"Oh,
Like it's some kind of inconvenience. Like, God, I've got to
Oh,
clean
no,
this up
no.
now. Oh, typical.
She says, "Did you know a young boy drowned a year before those two others were killed?" And then her tone shifts a bit and she says, "The counsellors weren't paying any attention. They were making love while that young boy drowned. His name was Jason." And we have like flashbacks over her head. And it's Jason. He's calling out for help, calling for his mommy. And then she says, "You see, Jason was my son. And today is his birthday."
Happy birthday, Jason!
Ooh, Jason. Tell me what
She says
you're
that she could never let the camp reopen after what happened.
So she was actually working there as well at the time.
as the
She
cook,
was the cook, yeah. Yes.
just like Under Siege.
Mm.
I'm the cook. It's my Steven Seagal voice. Did you like that? I'm the cook.
Yes.
Very believable, to be honest.
We do get a closer look at Jason in the flashbacks, and his head looks a bit like a potato. There's no other way of putting it. He has a potato head.
It explains a lot.
Yeah.
He deserved to drown.
But the sun is like behind him, so we don't really get to see his face very well. But he does clearly look not like an average kid. Mrs. Voorhees talks as though she holds Alice personally responsible for Jason drowning.
Yes.
And she pulls out a hunting knife and she runs at Alice. Alice manages to grab a poker, smacks the knife out of Mrs. Voorhees' hand, which is amazing. I don't know how she managed that. She also whacks her on the back and then just runs off.
She owns her quite a bit. Like, pretty capable.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Very capable. She heads to the Jeep, obviously, to get away, but she sees Annie's body inside. Poor Annie.
Yeah.
She wouldn't know who Annie was. She just sees like a dead girl.
Yeah. Yeah. First time she would have seen
Obviously
her.
this scares her, so she runs off in a random direction And just as she gets near it, Steve's body, which is hanging upside down, drops down.
I said that everybody's joining the Jason's birthday party here.
I don't know how that, how she triggered that. Maybe there's like a tripwire or something.
Maybe.
This woman is the strongest MILF in all of New Jersey. That's all I know.
Mrs. Voorhees.
Yeah, man.
I like the chunky sweater that she's wearing. It looks wonderful. It looks very cozy.
That
very
sweater
Hugo.
is iconic because, and we'll get to that point when we talk about the video game question.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, put a pin in that. Mrs. Voorhees watches as Alice runs away into the woods, and she speaks in the voice of her son. Kill her, Mummy! Kill her! Don't let her get away, Mummy! Don't let her live! I won't, Jason! I won't! And it's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
It's really fucking creepy how she speaks in her little boy's voice. And the camera's real up close on her face.
There are a lot of close-up shots of her, and it's very unsettling.
Yeah. Alice goes into the gun shed on the fun holiday campsite for children.
Yep.
Filled with rifles. She grabs a rifle, but she can't find any ammo.
If they have archery, there's a good chance that they have shooting as well.
And
Sure.
it's also
And it's
America. So
Yeah.
Second Amendment.
It's so funny, though, because when she was trying to get the bullets out of the drawer, which was chained up, the way she was hitting the drawer with the stock of the gun was...
There's a padlock that she's trying to break.
There's a very, very thick padlock, very thick chain. And she's not even trying. She's sort of grazing it a little bit. It's like the scene where she was hitting... Yeah, she's a fucking idiot. It was the same energy that she had when she was hammering the nail in the gutter.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
oh, wow.
What is wrong with you? Fucking hell.
Mrs. Voorhees turns the generator back on, so all the lights come on. And she walks into the gun shed. And she says, "Come, dear. It'll be easier for you than it was for Jason. Kill her, Mummy! Kill her!" And it's really fucking creepy. It's not a joking matter. It's not a laughing scene.
It is pretty funny.
It's terrifying.
It's pretty funny.
Mrs. Voorhees just starts slapping the shit out of Alice. She just slaps her again and again and again.
The bitch slapping was iconic. It was so funny. It's funny because compared to all the other stuff she'd done to everyone else, it was just funny to see her go psh, 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 psh. And everyone else...
she's the last girl, I think.
Yeah, I guess.
Gun butt to the clitoris, I put as well.
She did. She pussy shot her. She did. And that hurt.
And Mrs. Voorhees goes, "Ah, my cunt!" She doesn't. But that would be funny.
I've had a laptop fall on that part.
Your lady garden.
Yeah, and holy shit, it hurts so much. It's the bone.
You're not going to get any sympathy from me, I'm afraid.
You
As
man.
a man with literally, if I just sit down in the wrong way, come on.
Yeah, testicular torsion, as they say.
I turn too quickly and
Rest in peace, Simon's balls.
It's rough. Rest in peace, my balls. Alice manages to not just whack Mrs. Voorhees in the lady garden, but in her fucking face with this rifle butt. Mrs. Voorhees is out cold. Alice runs off, but then Mrs. Voorhees just wakes up and she's fine and chases after her. But outside, Alice manages to give her the slip by hiding behind. It looks like a picnic table. I'm not quite sure what it is. And then she backtracks to the cabins whilst Voorhees just runs off. She goes back into the main cabin, turns off all the lights, and hides in the pantry. This takes 5 minutes, and I've said it in 10 seconds. She rests with her head against the door of the cabin that's locked. That the pantry door that's locked.
Has her
and
back
we see
to
the
it
doorknob. Yeah, we see the
reason.
doorknob behind her head start turning, and that's a creepy shot.
Yeah. Very slow and. Ugh.
But then it starts rattling, and she screams, and Mrs. Voorhees starts breaking through the door with a machete, Jack Torrance style. She pokes her face through, and I really thought she was gonna do the "He is Johnny" thing.
Here's Voorhees.
But she doesn't. She's just made that hole to be able to reach the lock to unlock the pantry. The pantry has a lock on the inside, right? That's weird.
That is weird. How many people need to hide in that fucking place? How many
don't
times
know.
are you going to have to go, right, need to lock the pantry up now? Just got to climb inside.
Yeah, that's a
We
bit
don't want
bizarre.
bears breaking in and stealing all the food.
That's what it is. Yeah, it's the
They have
bears.
bears in New Jersey.
Well,
They have bears everywhere.
judging by
I
The
think.
Sopranos,
Yes, so.
maybe? There's that one episode where there's a bear roaming around in New Jersey.
Oh shit,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So Mrs. Voorhees wildly swings this machete around, but Alice is just like a master. She dodges. She swings back with the frying pan. She smacks Mrs. Voorhees in the fucking head. She hits the ground hard,
There's blood.
and we see blood coming from the back of her head.
Mm.
So I guess Mrs. Voorhees is dead now.
I
and
would
it's
have.
over.
I was thinking, finish her, fucking finish her. Right, a pan is not going to stop this mad bitch. You get that poker and you jab it through her neck. You know, and
Jesus Christ, you fucking psycho! What
you
the
get
fuck?
you get anything you can find in the
Oh my
kitchen,
God.
and just absolutely go at her and make sure that she ain't got a fucking pulse
Yes.
before you move on. Because look,
Yes,
Christ.
it's
bitch.
obvious that she was on the outside of the pantry and broke in, and you had to
I'm
stop
on
her.
the outside.
So it's not as if it's self-defense. You'll be fine, all
Yeah,
right?
man.
Yeah.
But I mean, it gets better.
Alice thinks it's all over. She heads to the lake and just sits by the water and just thinks about the evening that she's had. And we see a shadow of someone falling over her, and we see the reflection of Mrs. Voorhees in the water.
Which is,
We didn't really need both of those shots, but we got them.
I think it's good that she was by the water because she was able to see the reflection. Right.
Yeah, I guess. This fight is just chaos. They're both clearly tired, knackered, furious with each other. Mrs. Voorhees surely must have had a lot of competence and grace at killing everyone else. We see none of it on display in this fight. She's just flailing around. The machete ends up on the ground, and
I put
This
her
is
just
when-
rolling around in the sand.
yeah.
I guess
It's-
because
it's
she
nonsense.
catches the rest of them very off guard. She has the upper hand,
Yeah.
whereas
Maybe that's it.
this last woman is very aware, very on guard, I guess.
She's like the girl in You're Next, who's Australian, who's really good.
Mm.
She's basically that character. But Alice grabs the machete off the ground and with one swoop
Jesus
of the
Christ.
blade decapitates Mrs. Voorhees.
Jesus fucking
And
Christ is all I have
Mrs.
to
Voorhees'
say.
hands come up
Yeah, that is so
Like-
fucking funny. I love
like
it.
she's going, ah!
Ow, my fucking head! Brilliant.
Alice looks shocked, obviously, that she did this. Insane scene.
That
Makes
is
up
just,
for the dog shit fight that just happened. That one bit.
You got to be very strong to be able to pull something like that off.
Yes, her head is hard to get off.
Yeah,
She rolled a natural 20,
fuck me.
clearly. Or maybe it's a
To
vorpal
be
blade.
fair, to be fair though, Mrs. Voorhees is old. You know, the connective
yeah,
tissues
yeah.
aren't as strong anymore.
Right. Yeah,
old
we're-
people-
You'll learn this
we're
when you turn
rotting.
30.
We're basically
Old
rotting.
people,
Yeah.
like their skin just falls off
sag.
sometimes. They're like their
Yeah.
hip falls out. It's like old people just they're barely held together with hatred and bigotry and
piss and vinegar.
They're
Gee,
fueled
be
by
careful.
anger.
Next time you drop a laptop on your crotch, you're going to break your fucking pelvis.
Imagine you're just lying in bed and you roll over and your spine snaps. That's what it's like.
Yeah.
That's
That
what it
happens.
feels like.
Yeah. Happens to dozens of old people every single night.
Every day.
Mm.
So yeah, Mrs. Voorhees is 100% dead now. Turns out she was the killer, not Jason. So if you know of Jason, if you know of him existing, but you've never watched the first Friday the 13th movie, you are going to assume it was Jason doing all the murders. And it turns out it's his mother, this middle-aged woman.
But who's very
So that's
disarming.
it's still a pretty good twist.
It
even
is a
to
good
this day,
twist.
I think.
And it would have been a good twist then, back in the day, and it's still a good twist. I think it's a good way of doing it. There was a few killers in films around the sort of tail end of the 70s, early 80s that were sort of just like middle-aged women killers. Like there was a few, and
Got to watch out for him.
I thought it was a nice thing, and then the sequels were just like, right, fuck it all, we're going big man killer.
Yeah.
Forget the psychological twists and stuff. We're just going to put a big man in a mask and tell him to go and kill people.
But it does work. Mostly. Sometimes. Almost.
I do like her though. I like her like whole way about her. She's clearly got
Kill him, Mommy! Don't let her live!
But I want to know what
That's
she's
horrifying.
what has she been doing this whole time? That's what I want to know. We'll get to that point. We'll
Training.
wrap up. Yeah.
She's been fucking training with a bow and arrow, using machete.
Honing her skills.
But anyway, Alice sails
got the
away to
epilogue.
safety here. She gets in a boat, she just fucking floats off and has a nap in the canoe. As you would. Tiring. And what happens then, Simon?
It's daytime now, and she looks up, and the police have arrived. The cop car pulls up, 2 cops get out, and she looks relieved, almost happy, and then suddenly, from the water behind her, pops up a deformed and rotting naked boy who grabs her and drags her into the water. Horrifying.
Yeah, pretty.
She
bolts awake in a hospital bed. It was just a dream.
It was a dream. It was just a dream.
The police
She's in
are standing
hospital.
around. Nobody else survived.
I didn't really understand why she sort of got the boat and went out onto the water. I'm thinking she's safe.
I'll be safe out there. Yeah.
I mean, that's what I would have. That's what I would have done. As well.
Really?
Okay. If you can't get away from the camp on foot very easily, it's 20 miles to civilization. Any killers and stuff, they're not going to really expend the energy. Like, if you're in a boat and they're in the water, it's going to be hard to get to you. It's going to be harder to get to you than walking on foot, you know?
Yeah.
Even then, they can get and tip the boat over and kill you there, hold you under. But, you know.
There's the scene in the hospital where she asks, "Is anyone else alive? Are they all dead?" And the cop goes, "Yes, everyone's dead." Which, I don't know if you should say that to someone recovering from this horrific, incident.
What else are you supposed to say?
Straight to the point on that one.
Christ almighty. Thanks, police officer. He explains that she was pulled out of the lake by his men who thought she was dead. So she was in the water. She was actually in the water. She wasn't on the boat. That's strange. Probably doesn't mean anything.
Wait, what?
They didn't find any boy. They didn't find a Jason in the water.
I'm confused. What are you saying here?
I thought
maybe it wasn't a dream.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't a dream. But also, I thought we pulled you out of the water could mean like she's still in the boat. We pulled her and the boat out of the water.
I think it's deliberately vague
It's
to
vague.
think that maybe this wasn't a dream sequence. Maybe that actually did happen.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, "There was a boy, there's Jason in the water." And they're like, "No, there wasn't any boy in the water." And then she goes, "Then he's still there."
which you think she's a fucking nutter now, right? This has got to her.
We have a nice final shot of just the still water of the lake.
With her, it fades over, so you still got her face.
I do like that last shot. It's pretty nice.
Oh. And that was Friday the 13th, part 1.
Yeah.
What a film. G-Star Games, this was your pick. Would you like to summarize your final thoughts and give this a rating?
Final thoughts. Yeah, I like I said at the beginning, I enjoy actually, that's kind of ironic because it's not that, since it's his mother, which is the twist. But I like the silent protagonist, a silent killer, as we see in the next films, Friday the 13th, 2 and 3.
So you're saying that you like this film because you like what happens in the following films?
Yeah, I do like her though. I don't, there wasn't enough. Like, there were a couple hints as to who it could be, but because obviously they were sort of pointing us towards other people, like Ralph, potentially the guy who bought the camp,
Steve, yeah,
there were a couple. Ned Flanders. So they were pointing us in different directions and whatever, and she wasn't really ever mentioned. We only really find out about her in the last however long. So,
but it's not a whodunit; it's a slasher movie. So
true, and even when they did show her and like her reveal, I still feel like they did do a good job of that. It wasn't completely left field. I like the suspense. The music was pretty good. Yeah, the gore and the killings I thought were done very well. Sometimes looked a bit jank because of the, like we said with the upscaling, you can sort of spot the differences there. Yeah, overall, always hard because I always border between two scores, but I'll give it an 8.
8 out of 10.
Yeah, I really like this film.
Good lord.
Yeah, it's comforting. I weirdly find it comforting. It's not too over the top for me. It's still very much nested within reality in a lot of aspects, and I like the 80s vibe, the late 70s, early 80s vibe to it. It is a classic.
Holy shit.
It's a classic.
G-Star Games with an 8 out of 10.
Like, I love Halloween. Halloween is like same level for me. It's so fantastic. But yeah.
Lovely.
That's my thoughts.
Thank you for your thoughts.
Penny for your thoughts. Boof?
So, I much prefer this to the following films, and I prefer this to Halloween as well. Embarrassingly, turns out I don't actually own this on VHS. I was looking for it.
Oh my god!
It turns out I don't actually have it.
I actually find that very bizarre.
I find it bizarre because I thought I had it, but it's because I haven't watched it in such a long time, and I can't. If I had it, it would be up on the wall. But the presets are selling for too much money because now it's one of those that is sought after just for the fact that it is a cult classic.
Yes.
And I have like 3 copies of Halloween. It's like I don't even like that one as much, but there we go. I enjoyed it. It was funny to me in a lot of places, and again, the twist is a good one. And the reason that I just don't think twice about things like Halloween and Friday the 13th is because they've been so dragged out over the past 40 years or however long it is that I'm just like, I'm sick of it. I don't want to. I can't remember the origins of them as well. And it's like, watching it again, I'm like, I like it.
It is good to go back and watch how these things have started with the OG films.
And it's just that the sequels have sullied my opinion of these things.
It gave birth to slashers, this one, right? I feel?
Halloween was the kickoff from... I mean, there were slashers, but they had more substance to them. Halloween was the first one where the whole story is murder, and then Nightmare on Elm Street, another one where it's just like murder. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it because it was a laugh and it's funny and it's the kills were pretty cool, but it's not perfect. The pacing, obviously, it's quite slow in a lot of places. Because that's a hangover from how 70s movies were. You don't get all the action-packed, like, it's not one event after another for a lot of 70s films. It's very slow, and I think part of it was to try and create suspense, and obviously our minds have been ruined by a cavalcade of action in the 80s and then onwards. It's like people got very greedy for stuff happening in films. Back in my day, we didn't have stuff happening in films. Nothing happened. You watched a girl making coffee and you were glad for it. So yeah, I gave it a 7.5 out of 10.
Jesus.
I was surprising.
I was sort of in between, but I did enjoy it. I liked it, and I did look for VHS tapes after that, and I was like, right, they're too expensive. Fuck that.
Fair enough.
I
Find
don't
some
need
at
it.
car boot sale.
It's not like I need. Yeah, it's not like I need it.
No, but it's a collector's thing.
It's a collector's thing that you look for these things. But yeah, it's a little bit of a laugh. That one, I like that. It's daft. And it's got that quite comforting, cosy vibe about it. I agree with G. It's quite a. It's a nice one. I like it. Good job.
Nice.
Simon, what about you?
Good job, Sean S. Cunningham. I've only given it a 6.5 out of 10.
Whoa.
I've watched this film so many times. I think I had the first, 7 or 8 Friday the 13th on VHS. And I would regularly just watch them through one after the other. And this is definitely a high point of the series, which is quite sad because it's the first one. I mean, I could remember most of it like beat by beat, and sure, it's like a classic movie. And I mean, Kevin Bacon's death is amazing.
Yeah,
and Marcy's axe to the face is beautiful. Like the timing of these people being murdered is wonderful, and I get a lot of joy out of it. I thought the pacing was great, apart from like the last act really does drag in places with the coffee. Like when he lights the lanterns, like that took so long. Like, what are you doing? Why are we watching this? But I mean, aside from that, it was pretty good. I wasn't that bored during it. The twist is just fucking chef's kiss, perfect. As I said, even today, people probably won't even see it coming. They'll assume that it's Jason, the hockey mask dude. And I think it holds up very well today. But, well, apart from Ned dancing around wearing
love
Native
Ned.
American headdress.
What a dickhead.
Who's a dickhead?
I did.
What?
Ned.
Ned.
Oh, Ned.
Fucking Ned.
Right, yeah. Twat.
I found it hard to rate because I'm so familiar with it, but I don't know. I think there's a lot of better horror movies out there.
Absolutely. But it's not a comparison of though. It's like how much you enjoyed it, you know.
I enjoyed it a fair amount, but I mean, maybe if this was my 3rd time watching it and not my 17th, I probably would have given it a higher rating.
13th?
How come there are only 12 Friday the 13th movies?
Don't ask, honestly. Like,
There's 10 in the series. There's Freddy vs. Jason, and then there's the 2009 reboot one.
Yeah.
it's just
It's
insane.
solid. I recommend that. It's a solid film.
Or Freddy
The
versus...
start is amazing. No.
Oh.
The Friday the 13th, 2009.
Oh.
Solid. The start is incredible.
Okay.
It starts off amazingly well. So I recommend that. Yeah. Sure, 6.5. It's it's fine. It's enjoyable. It's a romp, but it's not. I can't say it's a great film. I think it's a good film.
Yeah, sure. And I enjoyed it for the fact that I think as a standalone film, you know, it's really good. Same with Halloween. I like it. They're good films.
Yeah.
And there's a reason that they've become so renowned in that sort of place, because they're fucking ridiculous as well. And they're a good laugh, you know?
Good laugh,
I was just thinking of another one with a killer that is a sort of older woman, which is Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker. And that's a good one.
Wonderful name.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed that as well.
That's why I giggled, because I'm like, that sounds so funny.
And it was re-released as Night Warning, which is like
terrible name,
boring. Awful. But yeah, I love women being the sort of like main killer of things, being the big guns, the person you least suspect, because it just adds that, and the rest of the series took that away, you know.
Yeah.
And he was just like, I've got a head in a cupboard. It makes no sense. It makes no fucking sense, all right? Because if he drowned, okay, and she, you know, she thinks he's dead, so she's going killing to avenge his death. Why was he in the lake to jump out at Alice? And then why was he alive the rest of the time and just made his mum really sad that he was dead, but he wasn't dead?
Because he's got a hell worm in him that keeps him alive, makes him immortal.
Well, yeah,
that's the same question with Michael.
Bringing him back. Yeah. Fucking let these people die. They keep reanimating them and stuff, and they can imagine him being reanimated again, go, oh, for fuck's sake, what now?
No, I get it. It's
you don't
like
need
I said, it's
to
the same
resurrect.
It's the same with Michael, because it's like, not only do they like hurt him, shoot him, kill him,
he gets thrown out of a car.
It's like Captain Scarlet.
Captain Scarlet, do 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 do. Michael Myers, do 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 do. Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees.
Wow, strange. That
was
works
a wonderful
so well.
fucking song.
Okay, Lades, have you got any cool trivia that you found on the interwebs?
Well, going off of the IMDb, there's a couple. So apparently, and I don't even know what this pronunciation is. So it says the movie was filmed at Camp Nobibosco.
Yeah,
Nobibosco.
It's a shortened name for the area.
Yeah,
and I think Bosco is Boy Scouts.
Oh,
and it's like North something or other.
So it's New Jersey. The camp is still in operation and has a wall of Friday the 13th, 1980 memorabilia to honor that the movie was set there.
Did you know that
do they send kids there?
Yeah.
That's kind of fucked up.
Did you know that this film is not part of the Friday trilogy? Friday, next Friday, and the Friday after next. It didn't go Friday the 13th after that, which is sad. Ice Cube was in them. I think that'd be pretty good.
I've never even heard of those films.
Oh my god,
that kind of lost on me.
I'm gonna have to put them in the list then. They're like
Christ,
hip hop.
Please.
They're hip hop movies. They're like Ice Cube's in them. It's like where Bye Felicia comes from that film.
Oh,
Bye Felicia.
That's an interesting bit of trivia.
Chris Tucker in it. They've just got to come up with $200 that they owe a local bully. There's like 3 movies. They're really fucking good. I recommend those.
Okay. The music. Mr. Manfredini came up with the music. Inspired by the film Jaws, where you don't see the killer for the majority of the film, but you hear the motif playing.
Oh my god. I knew it! When I first...
He came up with the sound key, 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 ma, 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 ma.
Yeah.
As though it's Mrs. Voorhees saying, kill her mommy. Like, you know, in her little boy voice.
That is so cool. That is so cool. Yeah. But when I first heard the score, I was like, man, this sounds like Jaws. Like, this reminds me of the Jaws theme. That is amazing.
So it's 5 years after Jaws, so Jaws is very much like in the public consciousness at the time.
Yeah.
This is a great bit of trivia. The film's most vocal detractor was Gene Siskel from Siskel and Ebert, who in his review called Sean S. Cunningham one of the most despicable creatures to ever infest the movie business.
What?
He published the address for the chairman of the board of Gulf and Western, who owned Paramount, which was whoever behind the movie, and also the home city of Betsy Palmer, who played Mrs. Voorhees, and he encouraged fellow people that hated the movie to write to them and express their contempt for the film.
That's fucking horrible.
He also spoiled the ending.
Cunt.
What a dickhead.
What a fucking asshole. What an absolute asshole.
Oh.
And Betsy Palmer... Wait, which... Oh, yeah, she is Mrs. Voorhees. She said she wouldn't have accepted the role, but she was in desperate need of a new car. So she accepted the role of Mrs. Voorhees. And after she read the script, she called the movie a piece of shit.
What a woman.
But over the years, she warmed up to the film, and she would appear at conventions and be in documentaries.
Oh, that's
say
crazy.
That she has no idea. Tells
I don't know who this
She has no
Who's this
idea who
hockey
the
mask
character in
guy?
the hockey mask is, since her son Jason got drowned in 1957.
That's not my son. My son drowned.
That's pretty... I mean, that answers that question. She believed that he did drown. So what the fuck is going on?
That is too funny.
Who knows? It's a demon or something.
Well, yeah.
We got any more bits of triv?
It's the 18th highest grossing film that year, facing stiff horror competition from The Shining, The Fog, Dress to Kill, and Prom Night.
I like Prom Night. It's good.
Yeah.
And
I
The
like
Fog.
Dress to Kill.
And The
Brian De
Shining.
Palma. Right. Yeah. What about the budget and how much it made?
I think 500,000, I think, was the budget.
$550,000, and worldwide it made almost 60 million.
Wow.
Which is very fucking impressive.
So Tom Savini did the arrow shot that narrowly missed Brenda. That's cool. Tom
thank
Savini's
God.
fucking badass.
Yeah, I would have trusted him to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No cap.
No cap. For real. On God.
Gee, would this make a good video game? What was the thing you were going to say earlier?
Oh, it most certainly fucking will make a good video game.
Flannel shirt or something.
What?
What was it you said?
Oh, but the sweater. Well,
the sweater, that was it.
Yeah, well, I would assume there are other Friday the 13th games, like old games on like the older systems and stuff, but genuinely, to this day, one of my favorite games, and one of the games that I've had like the most fun in, is the Friday the 13th game by the studio who have now gone on to make the Chainsaw Massacre game. But the Friday the 13th game, you could play with your friends, and someone could play as Jason, and you could pick Jason from the multiple Friday the 13th movies, so like Jason Part 5, Jason Part 3.
Can you play as Barbara? Sorry, Pamela.
I don't remember the name of the counselors exactly.
Who the fuck's Barbara?
I don't remember, because obviously...
No. Can you play as the Mrs. Voorhees?
Well, this is the thing, right? So the part of the objective of the Friday the 13th game is that you can either be the camp counselors and someone plays as Jason, and
it's like Dead by Daylight, yeah,
but better. Sorry, it's just better. It's a lot more intuitive, and I do like Dead by Daylight, but I just, with the skill checks and the fucking generator, it's a little dull sometimes. So one of the objectives of Friday the 13th, and the one way to kill Jason, is someone has to be something Jarvis. Is it Tommy Jarvis?
Yeah.
Tommy Jarvis, and you gotta have because he has a machete or something, or you gotta find the machete. So you have Tommy, you have I think one of the girls. You gotta find the mother's sweater in where Jason lives. You gotta find the shack. You get the sweater. you have Tommy, you stun Jason because you're like, you put on the sweater and you're like, Jason, it's
you pretend to be his mum.
Yeah, you got to pretend to.
Fuck.
It's really cool.
That's messed up.
Yeah, it's really fucking cool. You got to pretend to be his mum, and you got to time it perfectly, and you get Tommy to cut his head off, cut Jason's head off, which is funny because that's how his mum died. Yeah, I fucking loved Friday the 13th, but they had issues with copyright. And I think the original...
Oh, there's all sorts of weird rights about it. Yeah,
so there's huge tumultuous issues, and they didn't have the rights to it anymore or something along those lines, and they just couldn't keep it updated. I
think the big problem is that Sean S. Cunningham doesn't own the full rights to Jason as the killer with the hockey mask.
Right.
But the original movie's fine.
Right.
But as soon as it becomes a different character, I think there's problems because someone else had a hand in the creation of the iconic Jason.
Well, there's all, I think they had up until part 8 or something. They had, because you could be Jason part 8, Jason part, and they're all different versions. And that was like the cool thing. He had different abilities. So like part 3 Jason was a bit more like on using traps and other stuff. So very cool, very well thought out game. I loved it. It was so like, in order to escape, you had to find a battery, find the fuel, fix the car, find the keys. You could only carry like 2 or 3 items, and you had to coordinate, escaping. And it was so much fun with friends. And they fucking and they took it offline. It was so sad.
It's offline. I know that it's going off of Steam at the end of the year. You won't be able to buy it anymore.
Right. So if you have it, you're fine, and you can do private lobbies, I guess, with friends.
Right. But so they don't have their own servers.
Yes, exactly.
Gotcha.
But yeah, great video game.
You got to buy it before the end of 2023, and it will continue to function until the end of 2024 if you already own it. But after that, there's no guarantee that it'll be playable.
Right.
Which I don't even know how they do that. They just turn everything off.
It's just a bit sad because I felt like it was a good game.
This is what games are like these days, aren't they?
Yeah.
Online services.
Yeah. There is Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is the same studio along with another thing. So it's the same studio. It's very similar.
Hopefully the rights are good with that.
I think
it won't be. It'll fuck up.
You think so?
No.
What about Killer Clowns from Outer Space? That's another one they're going to do.
Holy shit.
Oh.
And,
they're actually... I can't believe they're doing that. I cannot believe it.
I think Demonic Toys as well, maybe?
Madness, isn't it?
Madness. Everyone's hopping on this bandwagon, and I get it. I don't really particularly vibe with the Dead by Daylight style of games, really. Personally.
Well, I find Dead by Daylight, like, it's interesting. And the one thing I do like about Dead by Daylight is all of the killers, right? So there's Ghostface, there's Michael Myers, there's the lady from The Ring, there's the Xenomorph now. There's so many killers. And they all have very different skills, very different whatever. And that's fun. But I don't like fixing generators. I find it dull, very dull, and I get it. I get why people like it, but
have you ever played the games on the NES with Friday the 13th?
I don't think I have.
There's Splatterhouse, which is inspired by the Friday the 13th sequels.
Yeah. So the old games are really good. I like.
Okay.
I think there's a couple.
Yeah. Guaranteed there would be.
Little old games. I've got one. I can't remember. It's on a cassette. I think it's for the ZX. And you just they're terrible looking, and you just got to defeat Jason 3 times by throwing rock at them and stuff. But yeah, it's a fun little. They're fun little games. I like them ones. They're really stupid.
Yeah.
Cool. I guess that's it. I guess we don't have a roll.
We don't roll this time
Halloween
because
special.
it's so spooky.
Ooh. Special.
It feels wrong. Should we just do a roll anyway, just for fun, just to see what we get?
Yeah, we'll have the list and then we'll just roll and see what gets picked. But it obviously won't count.
No, but it made me sad
No.
because we won't have to.
We can't roll to see what the film is. We just have to roll just to see what the number is.
Oh, because we know what sequence we get anyway. So I guess you can just do that because it's always the same numbers assigned to the same people, right? It's always your 1, 2, I'm 3, 4, and Biff is 5, 6?
Yes.
Okay. Oh my god, I love that.
It's nice.
He looks so calm.
You should fucking see how this dice has landed. You will not fucking believe it.
Is it G again?
How do you take a fucking screenshot?
Shift.
Windows.
Yeah.
Great.
Yes.
It disappeared. Well, it was between two numbers. It was between 6 and 4. It landed on its side. But there's no evidence of that happening now.
Oh.
Never mind
then.
Okay. Well, great. Fantastic. Well, I hope you enjoyed our Halloween special.
I'm certainly scared.
Yes.
Ooh.
Woo! Have a safe Halloween.
Check your candy.
Remember, check for razor blades and marijuana.
But stay safe out there, everyone. Enjoy Halloween. We hope you enjoyed this episode where we cover Friday the 13th that you will probably, hopefully, be listening to on Friday the 13th.
Whoa!
Woo! This is the YOMP crew signing off. Be sure to check out the Patreon, and we will catch you guys next time. Goodbye.
I love you.